I'm a business consultant and I specialize in the hospitality industry, so I've been checking out different establishments. But one little thing about Puerto Rico, because everyone has a story to tell, and I have my own. Back in 2017, you are all familiar about there was a Hurricane Maria that devastated the island. And so we were over there in Florida. There was a former colleague of mine all the way down from Jamaica, and we came up with an idea. What can we do to help those people from Puerto Rico that were affected? So we created a job fair, and we ended up helping a dozen people from here from Puerto Rico. And there were two gentlemen that I still remember. One gentleman was 69 years old, and he lost everything. And Valerie, the lady from, I believe, from the Hyatt Hotel, he said he's hired because he had such a great personality, even though it was kind of sad. And another case was a little bit sad because the gentleman was only 23. He didn't speak English. So in Miami, you know what I did? We found him a job in Hialeah. Those of you from the States, you know, Florida, Miami, Hialeah, the Cuban community, and thanks to that restaurant, those people, they got jobs, and something that I did for the island, okay? Okay, now let's talk business, because we are all here for business, right? And when it comes to opening a business, there are many steps you need to take. And all those presentations here yesterday and today, they have been wonderful. But to open a business in Florida or United States, yes, I'm saying or United States, you will have to take a different approach. And my advice to any business owner from any country has always been, it is important for you to work with like partnership. Especially if you are bringing your business from another state or another country, in this case, let's say from Puerto Rico, it is important to partner with someone who is already in business or someone who will be able to guide you through, because in the United States, we are talking about 50 states. Each state is different. And relocating from one state to the next might make a big difference. And I have a lot of stories I'm not gonna be explaining to you, but one of them recently, that gentleman was opening a restaurant and he made a bad investment because he didn't seek help before opening. By the time he came to me, it was TLTL, too little, too late. And we couldn't help because he made an investment of $150,000, which may sound little for some of you, but for someone who was a regular employee to open a business, that is a lot of money. And he borrowed money from the SBA, the Small Business Administration, and now he's paying rent and he doesn't have money to open because he made some mistakes. And one of them is, if you're going to open a business, some people from the island are afraid that they don't want to deal with, they don't want to borrow money, they don't want to talk about credit, anything like that. But if you are a small business owner, you know that you will need some working capital. And you need to work on your personal credit. Because if your personal credit is not great, banks are not going to facilitate any business loans to you. And so I have many stories, but when you're going to open a business, you need to work with someone. Get a professional business consultant that will be able to guide you through, because that will help you avoid those mistakes later on. And during those presentations, people were talking about the website and social media, and I couldn't agree more that yes, you need to have your own website, because social media platforms if you say the wrong thing, or if you look at someone differently, they are going to deplatform you in a second. So your website is, because you pay for a domain name, and that's when you are going to have your business on it. But how about getting all those permits? What do? You want to open a business and you are planning, but what state should I go to? Should I go to California, Texas, Arizona, North Carolina, Florida? Well, all depends on the type of business you are looking to open. Okay, if you are in technology, probably part of California will be good for you. But if you are like in hospitality and tourism, maybe Florida might be better for you. Why? Because we have all the beaches. Florida is a tourist destination. Here in Puerto Rico, I can see that you have a lot of tourist activities going on. But over there in Florida, for the first quarter of 2022 and also 2023, you got more than 30 million people, tourists, visiting the state. What that means is, depending on the type of business you would like to open, that might be a good venue for you, a good route for you to take. Maybe anything related to hospitality and tourism. Right now, I have some clients. One of them is 22 years old. Okay, we have young people here at the university. We do. 22 years old, and that client came to me a little bit late because someone took a lot of money out and didn't do anything at all. But I was able to help that client, and one time we were talking, and I asked, how much money are you planning to make per year? The client said, well, first of all, I don't want to work for anyone. I was good. And the client said, 100. I want to make $100,000. And my next question was, how are you going to make all that money when you are selling like smoothies and those type of foods? And she gave me some prices, and I was like, no, this is not going to take you there. We need to work on pricing strategy. And we did, and that client is so happy that I keep sending me new clients to help business. So another person, like 23 years old, helping a mother that is about to retire from the school system. And that client is on the way to make like $350,000 in a food truck, on a food trailer. Can you believe that? Wow. It's a simple truck. You know, like an old UPS or FedEx truck, and you fix it. And that person is in that because why? That person knew how to design the website and many things, but there were certain aspects that I came in and was able to help. In getting all those permits, that person was panicking. I said, no, don't worry about that. This is how we're going to do it. And we met on a Saturday, on a Sunday, because hospitality is a 24-hour industry, so we cannot be shutting down any client. But you need to think about a business owner. A business owner is like someone going to getting a PhD, that person is going to be forced to be a journalist. Why? Because that person will have to do research. Now, if you are opening a business, you need to know about all those departments: accounting, HR, the legal aspect, operations. You need to know about leadership, management, employees. You need to understand you have two customers. Employees are your internal customers, and customers, consumers, are your external customers. Some business owners fail within the next 3 to 5 years. Not because businesses are not doing great, because employers don't value employees. Some employees don't know what the internal customer means. Employees are the ones that run your business. And if you don't empower your employees, how can they run your business? Empowerment is a wonderful tool. Recently, there was a case where one company lost a sale of $5,000 because the company had employees that were not empowered, and the customer just walked away. When employees saw the customer, you need to call the manager, the owner. That customer went to another store. Can you imagine if you have a business and you are losing that amount of money a couple times a week? Are you gonna be making profit? No. So employees are some of the most important assets you have in your company. And then after employees, customer service, the magic word, right? Because when you are building a company or expanding a business, you need to think about the customer 24/7. 24/7. And it is not about what you like, it is about what customers will need from you and will want to buy from you. A lot of small business owners make the mistake of not valuing the customer. The customer is the one who keeps your business alive. If you don't focus on the customer, don't even try to open a business, number one. And number two, don't try to get a job in a big corporation, because that corporation is gonna run a performance appraisal on you as a manager, and that is a big mistake. So the customer is the number one, 24/7. It doesn't matter what it is. I was flying on an airline that not that many people are fan of, and I got a wonderful customer service from one employee. And guess what I'm gonna do when I go back? I'm gonna be creating a video about probably that particular employee. And that'll be a positive review, by the way, for that company. Why? Because one single employee. And if you focus on your employee, you train your employees will satisfy customers, and customers will come back. Isn't that Bill Marriott that says that all the time? Take care of your associates will take care of your customers, and customers will come back to you. So another aspect of opening a business is, sometimes if you're not familiar with globalization, you need to go back to the drawing board, because you need to know about globalization. One time there was one employee at the hotel. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and some customers from Australia, they wanted to order dinner at 3 a.m. The employee was like, "What is that? We don't have that." Why? Because the employee didn't realize that Australia is way ahead of us. Most countries are between 6 to 10, 15 hours ahead of us. Had that employee known that, those customers would have returned to that property. And we were talking about social media. Social media is positive for you as long as your reviews will be positive. Okay? Another thing about the management aspect you need to know is, from an HR perspective, sometimes you have employees, especially in the United States, that are from different countries. They don't speak the language. Yes, that's right. Okay? And sometimes one employee or you yourself will ask someone, you are interviewing someone for a job, and you ask, "Where are you from? You have an accent." Well, that's a good question if you are in a social setting, but if you are going to hire someone and you ask that question, that person probably get an attorney. We have some attorneys here in the house, and they know that. And that would be a lawsuit, because that would be a national origin discrimination. And that employee, you don't know who that potential employee went and paid for a consulting fee. Any of those professionals are here to provide that advice. Or, do you have a car? Well, that's a question. You should not allow your manager to ask, because you as the business owner, you will be busy doing other things. Because the question should be, do you have a mode of transportation? Because if you ask for a vehicle, that's another aspect of discrimination. And another aspect is your age, believe it or not. You cannot be asking for age, because there was a case, those are 3 points. But there was another case, a gentleman out of Pakistan. He was an employee at the warehouse. And I'm not gonna make that story long, it's very short. And some of the co-workers were joking, a bunch of guys joking around. And so the employee went to the manager. All of them were male employees. Went to the manager to complain. The manager said, wake up, grow up, be a man. And the man, being from Pakistan with a different culture, he got a little bit depressed, ended up quitting. But when he quit, he went to an attorney. And the company ended up paying $300,000. That was a case around 2008, many, many years ago. And to put in perspective, if you have a company and you have to pay out $300,000, how much money do you have to make in sales to generate $300,000 profit? Let's say you are making 10%, talking about like $3 million, something like that, right? So opening a business is the way to go. If you are 19, 20, you graduated from college, what is my advice to you? Go and work for a company for a year or two. And after that, open your own business, because that is the way to go. When you open a business, you not only benefit yourself, but you're gonna be benefit someone else. When you provide a job to that person that just went for a hurricane, or to that recent graduate from college, when you donate to that community, when you sponsor an event, you are helping that community one way or the other. So business is not just about what is in it for me, but what is in it for society. Because you need to have that giving approach, like the gentleman was talking before. So it is not difficult. There are some permits you need to get. Someone was wanting to open a place to open juice, and the person got afraid when I said, well, you need to get a permit from the FDA. The FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, I said, yes, you need that because there's a requirement for that. It was in Florida. I said, the state of Florida will have a requirement that you get to get some permits from that. I said, we're gonna get, but you need to get one from the FDA because you are selling a product that you have to put a labeling and you need to follow all regulations. It is not overwhelming. It is easy to do. You don't know it all. You can always ask for help, not because you are weak, because you want to do better and to be prepared for your clients. So don't think that opening any business is difficult. Seek help. Seek help. It doesn't matter what industry you are in, you will be able to open a business. And one thing about Florida, in the United States, you have those states competing among themselves. In Florida, if you have a business, you are doing like exporting, global trade, the state will give you like, sometimes grants. I went on a mission, and next year we are gonna go to a mission to Vietnam and other places, okay? And sometimes you just need to have the business in place. And it's a good idea if you have a company, let's say here in Puerto Rico, open an office over there somewhere in another state. Because what you're gonna do, you're gonna grow. According to the Small Business Administration, the SBA, around 95% of consumers are outside the United States. What that means is when you have a business, think about globalization, exporting, that's the way to go. And it is not difficult. If you want to export a product to another country, you just need to work with someone else from that country. And in terms of a partnership, you can open a business coming to the U.S. or going outside the U.S. because a partnership is the most important and it's an easy way to get into the business. And talking about the partnership, you know that you need to have this operating agreement. You need to have that. And sometimes you may want to know what type of corporation should I open. All depends on the type of business that you want to have. If you want to get tax discounts or deductions, Probably you can open a C corp, a C corporation, when you offer like health care to employees and you pay the premiums. When you go out and file your taxes the following year, guess what? The IRS allows you to deduct penny for penny. Okay? You pay $1,000 deductible on premiums for one employee. You are giving benefit to the employee, and the IRS is going to give you that money back through tax credit. Another thing is, if you have employees and you are providing like daycare, because you have employees and you want to provide that benefit, you get 25% deduction when you file your taxes. If you provide meals, or if you take someone out to a restaurant to eat, as of last year, the IRS changed that to 100% if it is consumed in the restaurant. Or if you order food for your employees. So there are many benefits that you can get when you run a business, when you have a corporation. If you want to open an S corporation, which is a small business corporation, that would be great too. But remember, that would be charged individually as a tax, a personal, not a corporate tax. So in conclusion, because I'm not going to be here for too long, we have great things coming up. Opening a business is not difficult. You can always open a business in Florida or United States. You just need to work with someone that's going to guide you through and understand that. I think it was a bestseller that we're talking about Texas and community state. Yes, that's correct. If you are married and you want, there are 9 community state, property states, and Texas is one of them, and so is Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada. Okay, there are so many over there, and you need to choose what state to go. Some states will charge income tax, others won't. Florida is one of them. So in Texas, just work with someone else. Do your research. Your market research is number one. And being here today with all those professionals around here, you have an opportunity to learn, to exchange, to collaborate, because collaboration is better than competition. And finally, remember about the customer. That customer is not always right, but the customer is right to know what he or she is getting when he buys or she buys something from you. If you keep your customers in mind 24 hours a day, you won't fail. It is impossible. It's Warren Buffett that says you don't please the customer, you delight the customer. If you do that, he said that he hasn't seen any company fail in all those years. He has been running his own company. So everything is derived from the customer, like everything derives from sales. When you are doing a financial statement, income, total sales profit, and all those things, the customer is the one that keeps your business alive. And it is all about planning, researching, working together, and opening your business to change your life forever. Any questions? Yes.
I want to know, when you start hiring employees, who do you think should be the first employee that you hire?
Well, your manager. You need to hire your manager after you hire yourself. If you are talking about hiring, because when you run a business, you have to give yourself a salary. It is a big mistake some small business owners make, that they start running businesses, they don't give themselves salaries, and that would be a complication when they prepare taxes. But your manager should be the first one. And another thing is, when you are opening a business, you don't wait until you open when you start hiring. You need to hire that person, and you need to have a good hiring process. And sometimes you, the business owner, you will not know how to interview someone. You will not know what quality, what skills to look for. That's when you're going to be contacting probably an HR professional, someone to do that hiring for you. But your manager should be the first person you hire, because that person will need to know your system to be able to hire and train employees that will come to be running the show.
Bravo.
Thank you.